Heading out barn today to look at a project. Let's see here. This is where I keep all my David Bradleys and all my other projects. And I have got the Will-Burt Little Farmer, and it has a Briggs and Stratton 5S motor on it, but it has no fire from the condenser or from the coil. So going in here and looking to see what I've got, and I've got this old Cunningham, and it's got a Briggs and Stratton 6S, and I'm wondering, with them being that close in size, would the, get around here, would the flywheel on the 6S fit on the 5S? If so, it may be able to bring a spark to the 5S. So let's take this 6S off the Cunningham, put it on the workbench with the 5S, and compare those flywheels and coils and see what happens. Get back with you in a little bit. Now here is a Cunningham, a very short-lived company in terms of making walk-behind tractors, because they infringed the patents on Briggs and Stratton for their motor. However, they did, from like 1950 to 1955, make some of these walk-behinds. This was one of the earlier ones, not very well put together. Design is very simple. That part of it is very good. You can see, I've got another video of this. This is your drive wheel, and it goes to a chain, and then the chain goes to drive a gear underneath this big drive plate with teeth in it. So it acts as another gear. But it has a 6S Briggs and Stratton on it, that I have bought just the motor and put it on here, because that would be roughly about the same size as the Cunningham motor that was put on it. And let's step in here, and let me turn this one around. Here is the 5S Briggs and Stratton that came on the Will-Burt Little Farmer, and this one is from 1952. So age-wise, the 6S and the 5S are about the same age. The question is, do they have the same flywheel or close enough flywheel that they're interchangeable to make the motors run? And again, I've already checked the coil and the condenser on this one. Neither one of them will create a fire. Now, I could get a coil made for the 5S, but you have to order them, and they cost about $125. So do I want to spend that kind of money on getting this 5S running just to say that it's running? You know, because I could go out and buy a Predator, a brand new motor, for less than that. So what I want to do is see if I can get this running. If not running off the coil and the condenser of this one, then who knows? Maybe I need to change the ignition, update the ignition system for these. I just have to double check and make sure I can do that. But I will take these cover plates off and let's see what we can find out. So hold on. Okay, I've got the two motors apart. There's the 6S, here's the 5S. And as you can see, there's certainly different sizes in the cylinder casing. You can tell that by the height, and that's probably due to an increased stroke for the pistons in the 6S to give it more horsepower. But let's do this. Let's see. Let's measure. Now y'all forgive me, I got this new camera. And let's see, it's right at 2 inches. 2 inches in width. The flywheel is. And the 6S, let's see. There we go. And you can tell it's 2 inches in width. So that's good. Now let's pull it out a little bit. The 5S is about 5.5 inches wide. The 6S five and a half inches wide. And I'm looking to the outside of the fins there. And yep, it's about 5.5. And you see by the shape of the flywheel, it's got that channel to ride the around the framework for the coil here. 5S has the same. So I'm guessing that those are the same flywheel. So what I'm going to do next, hold, gotta stop a minute here. We got one more thing we gotta check. Because remember, it's the coil and the condenser that's not working on this one. And let's see. That all looks good. You can kind of see the shape of the framework of it, what style it is. Come right over here. Same, looks like it's the very same housing for the coil. The coils are about the same, you can tell now. So now what I need to do is go back and double check, look and see if I can find out if they're the same coil or not. You know, condensers are a lot more forgiving than coils are. So I'll check that. I'll do that next before I start taking the flywheels off. But at least we know that the flywheels are basically the same. I'll look to see too if I can find part numbers in the old Briggs and Stratton repair manuals. And then if so, I'll come back and let y'all know what I find out, and we'll see if they're all the same. I know this one will run and I will double check to make sure it's got spark again. And if so, I'm going to take the condenser coil. I won't need to take the flywheel, just the condenser and the coil, because it should fit on this one. It would be just a matter of taking the coil off this one, put it on this one, the condenser, you know, make sure that points are gapped and have a spark. If I get a spark up here, then I should be good to go. But if you remember, it took me 3 months to get the valves unstuck in this one. I bent 3 bolts, you know, I took it apart, turned the jug over, you know, and I couldn't get anything to loosen the valves. I tried every kind of lubricant, it didn't work. I bent 3 bolts, putting them on the bottom side of the valves, driving, and then I would put more lubricant, let it sit for about 2 weeks, then go back, driving. Finally they came out. They were perfectly clean, you know, as far as no rust, but there was crud all around it. They cleaned up 5 minutes, a little bit of Scotch-Brite. They're just as pretty. They didn't bend from being hit. You know, I mean, I've used the heck out of them, but you know, they look just as pretty. And well, there's the proof. You know, it's free, got good compression. I can hardly turn it. There you go. Good compression. They seated real well. The rings were good, but they were, because of it sitting for so long, crud had gotten around in the channels for the rings, and they were just stuck. But once I got them out, you know, there was very little wear. I did break the top ring, and it took me a long time to find a set of rings. But I only had to use the top ring that I broke getting it out. The other 2 were fine, and it's got good compression. And now it's just a matter, hey, if you got good compression and you got good spark, something's gonna happen. That's a guarantee. You can sign my name to it. And I know that this one, you know, ran the last time I tried it. So I will let you know what I find out. And if it looks like everything's on go, we'll start taking the condenser and the coil off this one, put it on this one, and I will film putting that together and seeing what kind of spark we get. It is New Year's Day. I hope everybody has a happy new year. I look forward to making more videos. The last 6 months I was working on an 1800s cupboard for a friend, and it took every bit of 6 months because it had oil, it had tractor parts on it, oil, grease, it was painted, and she wanted it stained. So, you know, I did everything I could to get that cleaned up, but I'm back working on metal, and I just hope y'all have a good new year, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Bye-bye.